Hello and welcome back to the SML podcast, Playing the Field with Field Journal 007 edition. A couple things I want to touch base on. First was my game this evening against the Dolphins. Always a competitive player, tough player, guy that always matches up really well against me. I think I threw 5 or 6 interceptions in a playoff game where he bounced me. I managed to even the series against the Dolphins at 2-2 tonight. He's got a good defensive scheme, and I always seem to make just dumb throws, like the very first offensive play of the game for me wound up being my first, but fortunately my only interception of the game that I threw. Other than that, we both kind of play a pretty close, just tough defensive battle. No real big plays to speak of. I will say this Madden does at times, not to say complaint, but you do realize how broken this game is every time you play the game. I recall a play, I believe it was in the second half, and I wish I had the game recorded. This is my first time I streamed it, so comment below if the stream worked well for you on Twitch. But anyway, there was a play where I had Cooks split out wide to the left. He was supposed to run a streak, and he just stood in place for a while. It was press coverage, and I should have had a huge play because he had like a +7 speed advantage on the defensive back. But he just kind of stood in place, and the big play opportunity was negated. Other than that, there was a pretty clean played Madden game. There was no real lag to speak of. I knocked down a 61-yard field goal in the third quarter, so there was obviously heavy wind. The running game never really got going for either team. I had a couple decent runs, and so did he. But other than that, there really wasn't much of a running game to speak of. He wound up benching his starting quarterback. I think Sam Bradford came in. So I guess, I made... It's hard to be too happy about a game where you don't really play that well. But that's kind of been the case for me this Madden. I just haven't really adapted to the sliders yet, I don't think. So my high scoring output, like from when I was used to the last 2 seasons of last Madden compared to now, I'm not really fully adapted to it. I'm not getting the big plays I'm used to. But at the end of this game, I wound up getting a pick 6. I thought, game over. He winds up getting a nice drive going, brings it within 2. He doesn't go for the onside kick. He kicks it deep. I have on my first run, I get like an 8-yard on a reverse, and then I try to run it. I think I just ran like a dive or a trap run, something like that, and I wound up not getting anything. It was like third down. I think I lost a couple yards even. It was third down, and kind of panicked a little bit on the third down throw. Wound up throwing an incompletion. And, he wound up getting another opportunity to play the game. We got some sacks. It wound up being like a fourth and long type situation, 4th and 8 or a 4th and 18, something like that. And there's 2 seconds left on the game clock. And he lined back up to go, obviously to go for it. And I just kind of called it cover 4. I probably should have called prevent looking, back at it. But anyway, he did not get the snap. I got a delay of game. And this is how random Madden is with these two things. For one, very rarely do you actually get the 10-second runoff, and I end up winning this game due to the 10-second runoff, which is an actual NFL rule, but it's very rare that it actually works in the game, just like the ice the kicker feature. Very rarely does the ice the kicker feature actually work anymore. And I'm not saying that it's even if you have a clutch kicker, it's supposed to still ice the kicker. It'll still do the whole animation where you're guessing at it, but the fact you got a clutch kicker, he's more than likely going to make the kick. So anyway, just seeing the 10-second runoff was kind of ironic, but it was a great game. It was a great play game by the Dolphins. Definitely not looking forward to the next game. It's always a tough game. Anyway, the other part of this podcast I wanted to talk about, was shared earlier in the chat. So if you haven't read this article yet, EA is planning on doing what they're going to call a 365-day live service, where they're going to do away with, or potentially do away with yearly releases of games like FIFA or Madden, where, every year Madden, FIFA, games like that, EA constantly drops, a yearly title, and we go out, we spend the $60, we buy the game for some small changes, or none at all in some cases, and they're talking about doing away with that and doing a subscription-based game where you're going to be paying, they'll probably just have it just be like a downloadable title where you just go in and you'll just download Madden, and then they'll just do updates until either that subscription fails or 2K takes over, whatever. And there's 1 of 2 ways that this will work out. One, it'll go very well, And for some titles it does work well. I mean, you think of like a World of Warcraft, or some of those MMOs that have constant updates where are adding good quality content. Or it can go plan B, where it just goes south in a very quick way. And due to the fact that this is an EA title, it makes me think that there's a pretty good chance that they're not going to do the updates, and the updates that they are going to do, it's going to cause it to kind of be like this year, where they do a title update and it winds up breaking more than what they fix. So it'll be interesting. They haven't really set a timetable on it, but it's something that they're teasing whether or not they want to do a subscription-based for Madden. So I don't know. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I'm not totally against having a subscription-based Madden, but the fact that it's or a subscription-based title, I'm not opposed to paying a yearly fee. But there's two things that I would not like. For one, if they charge more than $60 a year for the subscription, that I don't know. I mean, would you be willing to pay $150 a year? I mean, whatever they're wanting to charge. And they may actually charge you less. They may only charge you $40 or $50. So it's kind of a catch-22. You're really in the dark right now, and I almost wish that they didn't put this out there. Maybe they're putting it out there just to see what the fans' reaction to it is. But it'd be interesting to see if and when something comes of this, what'll happen if they announce a price point, and if they're going to do it in 2020 or if they're going to do it next year. It'd be interesting to see when all that, if and when that stuff would shake out. Comment below what you think about the subscription-based Madden versus buying just the annual title like it's been for the last 20 years or so. Anyway, be sure to like, subscribe, take care, have a great day.